Good morning, this is Jack for Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 12th of September. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Right, now, what I was talking about this week on the bigger picture webinars on Monday and Wednesday. I was talking about the very bullish tape this week, and we've seen that play out. We had basically a bullish leaning week, neutral Monday, strongly bullish on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and neutral to bullish today. We've seen that play out. In terms of next week, that basically runs through until Tuesday. And after that, we tip over into bearish. We've got triple witching. September quad witching tends to be bearish, 23.8% bullish closes, leaning slightly to the bear side on Wednesday and Thursday next week, 17th and 18th. The following week, basically, we've got quad witching, which is 23.8. We've got 28.6 the following Monday and 28.6 the following Tuesday. 42% on Wednesday, 38% on Thursday. You're picking up the theme here. We're about to switch into, after Tuesday, we've got about six trading days which are leaning strongly to the bear side. So I'm bearing that in mind when I'm looking at the setups today. Now, in terms of the where we went to, I was expecting to see a retest of SPX. Yes, it has more than completed that. NQ still hasn't quite made it to the retest of the NQ high, but we have more than done so on the Qs. And of course, the Qs is the really the dog, and NQ is the tail. So I'm still expecting to see that, in all probability, see that full retest on NQ, but the main target has already been reached. RTY was lagging behind, but finally made a retest to the high yesterday, and I'm going to talk more about that on the bigger picture charts. On YM, retested the high, has gone a bit higher, no longer looking like a nice looking level top here. Really, given the tape for the next couple of days, I'm inclined to give this a pass till Tuesday, and then be looking at the topping patterns then. We will see how that goes. Still looks like a bear flag on forming on DAX, and still frankly looks like a bear flag forming on ESTX as well. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Now, on IWM, hang on one second, I'm just going to have the some SPX charts loading in the background. Right. Okay, on IWM, on the daily chart, obviously we had this IHS. I was talking about this back in May. It broke up. We've seen a long journey to get it up to this target, and that target is a retest of the all-time high at 243.04 that was made in November 2024. I am liking that. We reached a high at 240.93 yesterday. That's almost there. Slightly more than a handle, and it makes that target. I'm thinking we're going to make that target by Tuesday, in all probability. I'd be surprised if we didn't. And certainly, something I've been saying since we got up basically over 235 was we were now so close. I'd be surprised if we didn't make the target. We will see how that goes. All right, looking at the bigger picture. On the hourly charts, what I've been looking at is the trend lines here. Now, are we going to break over these trend lines? I mean, obviously, a month ago, I was talking about seeing some consolidation or retracement, and basically what we've seen is consolidation. We saw a bit of a retrace here, and then been largely trading sideways, and then we've gone up this week. How are we doing in terms of the trend lines here? Well, on SPX, we're not in any great danger of threatening it. I've got the, we're up at 6,600. I've got the next trend line currently in about the 66.70 area. Honestly, I think that's likely to be respected. It might be ahead. Qs, we finally made it back to a retest of this high after a month. We've got a very nice looking potential level top, but obviously we've got some space to the upside. I've got this trend line resistance here up in about the 592 area, I think, and obviously we could make that too. No, it's not the 592 area. Hang on, that would actually be. It's just more like the 600 area. We could go that high, although, to be honest, we may just stall out here. Qs have been the weakest over the last few weeks, and in this rally, it's also been the weakest. On Dire, So that's slightly over trend line resistance. I do have a very nice looking resistance trend line right here, slightly above, and I'm wondering whether that's going to be the obvious next target. Looking at IWM, we're pretty close to trend line resistance. In the event we go through it, which we might not, but if we're going to make it to the all-time high retest, we probably are. That could be a bearish overthrow, or we could be going up into this trend line here, which I've got currently in about the 245, 246 area. We've got a bit of negative divergence. So we've got an RSI 5 sell signal brewing on IWM. We've got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing on the Qs, possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing, although very spiky and not that far away from being invalidated by this going over the previous high, so killing the negative divergence. But we've got currently a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on SPX. I'm not really seeing these as strong indications that this is about to go down. At the moment, I'm not seeing anything compelling suggesting that we can't see basically sideways to up into Tuesday, which would be the obvious time for this to go and finish. All right, in terms of the bigger picture charts, there's nothing really much to see. We're testing the daily upper band on the 3SD upper band. Have I got that marked on here? Yeah, I've got that as 66.16, and we're not that far away from that. So I'm wondering, I'm not expecting this to go an awful lot further. It would be a rare thing for this to break over the 3SD upper band. Looking at the Qs chart, Qs chart, obviously we've only just retested the high. Again, the 3SD upper band is not that far away. On Dia, little further away, but again, not that far. I think upside is limited from here, but I am thinking we're likely to do some. All right, after that, we've got another inflection point where we will see whether or not any kind of decent retracement can be managed. At the moment, obviously, recent history is not encouraging. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX broke up from a double bottom, made it 2/3 of the way to the target, and then almost went back to the low. Obviously, we've got a bit of turbulence here. I am wondering still about a move to the downside, retesting a low, which I think is about 96.1 area. ZB, we've got 60-minute sell signal fixed and reaching the possible near miss target at the moment. We do have possible topping action here. I'm wondering about a retracement. I'm not seeing much on the bigger picture to suggest that we're not going to go up higher afterwards. 60-minute sell signal fixed here on ZN. We're not seeing it properly update because it doesn't on ZN really. So until I reload the charts altogether, and it may be that it's not going to do that in any case till the start of RTH, but I think we might reach target on that today. Looking at the CL chart. CL, we saw a nice move down, almost got us back to the lows, and we're now back up to the prior high. Kind of spiky, looks a bit like a bear flag forming actually. So I'm wondering about that. On HO, we had a buy signal fix overnight, and that's made target. Wondering about a possible retest of this high here, just under 2.4. Looking at RBOB, 60-minute buy signal is fixed, getting back over the weekly pivot. At the moment, we've seen a nice move up overnight from the lows on oils, and I definitely think this might go a bit higher. On NG, we saw a nice move down here, and I think, I'm just going to check, but I think we're still on a daily RSI 5 sell signal. So bear with me a moment, and I will check that. But if we are, if we are, then I expect to see some more downside, and we do have a flag target below. The RSI 5 sell signal has reached the possible near miss target now, and we've also reached possible support at the daily middle band. This would not be a bad area to reverse back up. It may be that we're reversing back up. It may be that we're making an overall flag here, which could see us make a higher high in the 3.3 to 3.4 area. We'll see. But in the short term, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. GC, I was saying this was likely to be a bull flag forming. I'm thinking that move looks as though it wants to retest the high on GC today. SI, we've had a very nice looking double top setup for the last week, and we just lost it with this going higher. Wouldn't be that surprised or upset to see this disappear and it go up directly. Palladium, we had an IHS breakup, and that's the majority of the way to the target now, and I've got that target at about the 1307 area. On platinum, looks like a bull flag which is breaking up at a target with a target at a retest this high here in the 1465 to 70 area. HG, this looks like a bear flag forming, and it looks like we've just made a little short-term high, and I'm wondering whether that gives me a decent bear flag trend line. But I'll really need need to experiment with that over the weekend and see, because I'm going to need to take out this initial action to see whether we've got a decent trend line there. In the meantime, though, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and that's on the way to the target. And I'm wondering whether we're about to finally break down from this bear flag. USD, not a lot to see. Not a lot to see really on GBP to USD JPY. We're in a sort of uncertain sideways move area at the moment. KC, we've got a double top here, and I'm wondering about some retracement on SB. SB, we've got a potential little double bottom here. Well, a substantial double bottom here. I am wondering about a holding support here and breaking up and seeing whether we'll do that. 60-minute buy signal is fixed and hasn't made target yet. On CC, I'm wondering about continuation lower, and this just being a little counter trend rally. On CT, I'm thinking we may be making a very significant low here, and I'm watching this with interest. Needs to get back over the monthly pivot at 66.97 and convert it to support. Lumber, possible double bottom setup here. 60-minute buy signal has fixed. ZW went a little lower and will have made my target below, so I'm wondering about a possible major reversal here on ZW. I'm wondering whether that may already have started on corn. On soy, harder to say, really. I mean, really, you'd think this would have been the most depressed. I don't think America's selling an awful lot of its soy crop to China this year. So you'd be thinking the soy price would be down, but it's not really. We've not seen that in recent months. We will see how it goes. I mean, we saw a nice decline back down into August, but really, the situation has not improved from there. This might just be a counter trend rally. We might be going down again afterwards, but I am wondering about putting in a significant low here too. I'm just not seeing any reason why it would. We've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing here, but I think we're losing that divergence at the moment. Possible bottoming action, might see an IHS form here. Live cattle, this looks like a bull flag of some kind forming. Lean hog has continued higher and killed off this trend line here. But I've got a nice little wedge here that I'm watching. We will see how that goes. So we got a 60-minute sell signal fix. Not delivered anything so far. All right, Doug, did you want me to have a look at NVIDIA? Yeah, George, I know. And to be honest, I don't know if it's going to come out this weekend. I'm feeling like death. Netflix. Right, hang on 1 second. Oh, sorry, I thought it was NVIDIA. Sorry, I'm not really working at my usual level today. I am feeling too crappy. So let's have a look at Netflix. Right, hang on. Where have I got it stashed? Pretty sure I've got it here. If not, I'll just do it quickly for you. Nope, it's not there. All right, let's pull it up and have a look at it. All right, let's have a look at it on the weekly. We're definitely seeing some signs of weakness here. This is a break below the weekly middle band. That's at the very minimum interesting. We're still on a weekly RSI 14 sell signal. Weekly RSI 5 would be stronger and more immediate, but we haven't got one of those. Let's have a look at the daily. On the daily chart, no obvious topping pattern here at the moment. We had an RSI 5 sell signal, and that's made target. I'm not really seeing an awful lot of reason to think this is about to go down. I'm just going to have a quick look at the pattern setup from April. Gotta say, I'm wondering about a retest this high here at 1341.15. It just seems the obvious thing next to do, unless we can break down with more conviction from the daily middle band. And if we do see that, I'm not seeing an obvious target for it. Let's just have a quick look at the hourly chart. All right, not an obvious pattern setup here. I mean, we might well have one up them going up in from the April low, but I'm not seeing an obvious pattern setup here from this high in June. This could be a flag forming. Could easily be something else though. Not seeing anything that looks particularly clear. I think we had a nice setup into the April high, but then we had an awful lot of things with nice setups into the April high. But the problem is they just haven't really delivered a great deal since. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, that was a decent setup. That's but that is history now. In terms of what's happening now, good question. But we saw a bit of a retracement there. Maybe that was enough. I'm not seeing an obvious reversal pattern here at all. We'll have to see how it goes. This could be a bear flag forming, but it's weak. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. Everyone take care, and everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you again on Monday, at which point, hopefully, I won't have a cold anymore. All right, take care.